Hey everyone, welcome back to Tactical Magic. Today we are talking about one of my very favorite topics, which is wanderlust and travel and how to run your business from the road and do it successfully as a leader, as a facilitator, as a coach, as someone who wants to create powerful experiences for your clients and your customers. And we've got the magical Dr. Sheri Rosenthal here today. So just wait 1 second and I will tell you more about her.
It's not just about mastering technology. It's not just about brand or messaging. It's not just about making more money. It's about showing up in a big way so your people can find you. This is about bringing your most wild and authentic self into the hustle and grind. Welcome to Tactical Magic, a business strategies podcast for the warrior goddess entrepreneur.
Dr. Sheri Rosenthal is a business coach, international retreat leader, and author. A former podiatric surgeon, Sheri left behind a successful practice, a surgical residency program, which she personally designed and directed, and a couple husbands, to find her life's calling. She spent 8 years traveling, meditating, and studying ancient traditions of spiritual evolution, writing 3 books on personal growth and consciousness. Today, Sheri is known as one of the most sought-after retreat strategists for coaches, speakers, and authors, and is the owner of Journeys of the Spirit Travel, a boutique agency specializing in the planning and management of group travel. Through her Wanderlust Entrepreneur Community and her signature course, the Retreat Blueprint Program, she has taught thousands of facilitators how to design exceptional, experiential retreats that allow them to stand out in their niche. She loves helping clients plan, fill, and profit from transformational retreats that change lives in a huge way while adding serious income to their bottom line. Welcome, Sheri.
Thank you so much for having me, Molly. I really appreciate being here with a fellow Wanderlust entrepreneur. So this is awesome.
Yes, so excited to have you here. I met you at, I think, the Leaders Retreat, Leaders for Conscious Entrepreneurship, many years ago. And
Yes.
yeah, I was just so excited to finally get to meet you because I had heard about you facilitating retreats and teaching people how to lead powerful retreats. And as someone who loves to travel and who loves to facilitate, I knew that we had to have a conversation and learn more about each other. So tell us a little bit about how you found your way to hosting retreats and helping other people to host their retreats.
Exactly. Well, it was definitely a little convoluted, so I will try to make this very succinct. So back in 1998, I decided to finally sell my medical practice. And honestly, even though I love my practice and I loved helping people, I never really did want to be a physician. It was more of my parents' dream. And I really felt like my life was someone else's life. I had gone through 2 divorces. I was unhappy, and I felt guilty for being unhappy because I had a practice that was making good money. I had a nice house, a nice car, all of that. And somehow I wasn't happy. And so I decided, okay, I need to do something about this, and I'm not really a therapy girl. So I saw that Don Miguel Ruiz had a spiritual journey to Mexico, and I always loved the Carlos Castaneda books from back when I was in college. So I said, wow, a Toltec teacher, I've got to go. I had never been on a retreat. And I got there, and Molly, I totally freaked out because I had never done any spiritual work before. And there were all these people from California, God bless them. You know, I'm a New Yorker through and through. And there were all these people sitting at the feet of Don Miguel. And I'm like, oh God, I don't know if I could do this. And he saw me and he invited me over and gave me a hug and had me sit by him. And we talked for a few minutes. And, by the end of the retreat, my life had changed. Seriously, went 90 degrees in a totally different direction. And I was so passionate about the format of that retreat. You know, as a doctor, I was looking at it not only as my own personal experience, but to see, like, I had done therapy before, but nothing had been so illuminating to me as that one retreat. It was 10 days. And really, Molly, my life changed in every way possible. And the most important thing I took away from it is that, you know, there was nothing wrong with life outside of me. It was me and the way I saw the world. chose to see the world,
Mhm.
chose how to interact with the people in my life. And I was creating everything. And I I would never have told you I was a victim in life, but I realized I was a victim in life, even though I didn't want to admit it to myself. And I was hell bent on changing that and taking control of my life and being the artist of my life, and making it just the way I wanted to. So that is what happened. I opened the travel agency in 2003. I worked for Don Miguel Ruiz in his business for 2 years, running all of his retreats and live events. So that's how I learned the business.
Wow.
And then I opened my travel agency just really for my own retreats. And then people started asking me for help. And before I knew it, I was helping other people. And then I had been teaching the 4 agreements and realized I wanted to do something that included the 4 agreements, but wasn't someone else's work. And then I created Wanderlust Entrepreneur and started teaching other facilitators how to do transformational retreats that sell and make money. So that's
So
how it all happened,
I
Molly.
love it. I love it because it's so, I mean, in such a different way. It's like my own story that it was
Ah,
following your own curiosity, knowing there was something more, having that awareness of, oh my God, there's another path I could be choosing. And then getting into the driver's seat and saying, I'm not going to blame anyone else. And I'm not going to look outside of
right.
myself for what's wrong in my life. I'm going to take full responsibility and start creating that. And by following that curiosity and taking your power back, that something beautiful got to be born through you, that if you weren't
Yes.
willing to step outside your comfort zone and follow that path and be curious, that may have never come to life. So I love that. It's so beautiful.
Thank you.
What would you say? I know there's a lot of people listening to this that are probably like really gung-ho, excited about someday leading their own retreat, hopefully somewhere beautiful like Mexico, or you just mentioned earlier that you're going to do one in Morocco next year. What are some of the components that make a transformational retreat successful? What are the things that people should be keeping in mind?
Well, I see a lot of people do what I call workshops in pretty places.
Mm-hmm.
And so what they're doing is they understand how to do a workshop, and they actually do not understand how to do an experiential version of a workshop. In other words, where you choose the location because the activities help teach your material.
Mm-hmm.
So you really, even if you're going out for the day to sightsee or something, it's not sightseeing. It's process time. You're actually learning something and asking something of your people. So it adds so much more value to the retreat itself, because most people will teach like for an hour in the morning or something, and they have free time where they do something fun. And that takes all the value away, because the person looking at it sees like, oh, they're teaching for an hour every day. I don't want to spend a lot of money on this, or I could do this trip myself. To create something deeply experiential, it means you have to transform what you want to teach into something that people have a balls to bones experience of. And so that is really the formula for creating something wildly successful. And of course, on the practical side, we have to grow our list and following so we can market to that list and following. A lot of people try to sell their retreat to cold traffic, people who don't know and like and trust them already. I find that those trip members are not, in general, great people to have on your trip. Often they will challenge you because they don't know your work and they don't fit in. So when you grow your list and market your retreat as an internal launch, an internal marketing affair, you will get a better quality of person who really wants to be with you. Not because they like the place solely. Like a lot of times people will go, oh, I want to do a retreat in Bali. I don't care who the teacher is. Well, I don't want that person on my trip, because I want people who want to continue working with me. And I want people who genuinely want to transform and learn whatever the theme of the retreat is. which is another issue with retreats. People often want to teach everything on a retreat, and really each retreat should be for a sub avatar of your main avatar in your business. So it has a very specific theme, and people very specifically want to come on that retreat. So those are two big, well, maybe three big things as far as retreats go.
I love that. And you didn't even mention like all the components of navigating the actual experience of, you know, the legality and the liability of bringing a group to another country, and, you know, all the nuts and bolts stuff to be successful.
Yes, that's something totally different. So if you ask me, like, what are the cautions, then that's a totally different list of things, I would say. But as far as actually creating a beautiful retreat, those are the main things.
Yeah, I totally agree with you too. I've led one retreat in Thailand. I co-hosted with a colleague, peer of mine who I adore, and I think we just didn't give ourselves enough lead time to get more people there, but the experience that we were creating was absolutely beautiful. And I think that recognizing a workshop you lead in a hotel or a workshop that you lead in, you know, an evening, it just has less space for that experiential stuff to occur. You can still have people partner share and, you know, journal and like have big breakthrough moments. But when you're outside of your normal life and you're doing that in a retreat setting, there's already a part of these people that had to leap in order to show up. So there's so much more potential, I think, for a radical new version of themselves to come out of it, because we're immersed in the experience in a different way. And I think that's what's really exciting for me about retreats, in addition to, of course, traveling and doing big magic with people in form.
Exactly. The mythology of the place is really important to me.
Yeah.
In creating a retreat. Like, for example, I had one retreat called Transcending Fear, and I took people to camp in Havasupai Falls, Grand Canyon. And I had a company that set up a tented camp for us, but we jumped off a 30-foot waterfall. Like, the retreat worked up to that in Transcending Fear. And so I used the location very specifically for the theme. Or, you know, many times we've done retreats at Teotihuacan, Mexico, and the mythology of that place is that you have the Avenue of the Dead. And so you start out in a plaza, let's say, of unawareness, non-awareness, and you go all the way to the Pyramid of the Sun, where you merge as light merging with light. And along the way, you shed all those layers of what is not truly you. Each plaza has a different mythology about it. And so you're really there on the land. We're not at the hotel. I'm giving people exercises to do in each plaza. And so when we do retreats like this, it really creates a totally different feeling.
Yeah, I love that. So what does somebody need on the practical side of it to be ready, you would say, to start planning a retreat? Because you mentioned list size as a factor, not just, you know, selling to cold traffic.
Yes, a list is good. I've seen people fill retreats with small lists. So it doesn't mean like you don't need to wait until you've got 10,000 people on your list. You really don't. A couple of 100 people on your list that really love you is fine. I'm sure you'll get enough people to fill a retreat from that. Another thing that's very important to have, of course, as you mentioned before, are legal forms. I'm really neurotic about this. I think that we need to protect ourselves, especially if we have a business in the United States, because people in the US are sue happy. And I don't mean that from a fear-based point of view. Like, one thing Don Miguel Ruiz always used to teach us is that you need to eliminate all drama from your life. And as a warrior, a spiritual warrior, you know what the possible things that can happen are. So you're responsible to protect yourself from those possible issues. So good legal forms need to release you from the responsibility of the trip. And now with COVID, we want to make sure we have that languaging also in our forms. Our forms are like 6 pages long. I know that sounds like a lot, but they were very purposely created, and they have exactly what needs to be there for travel in general, the dangers of traveling, And along with that, you always want to have an exit plan for your country in case there is a political issue or something. Like even in Bali, which is so peaceful, they've had two, big sets of terrorist bombings there. So you really need to not make an assumption that everything is going to be picture perfect, that you want to be aware and speak to your venue on what would you do if something like this happened, and what are the procedures, because you are ultimately responsible for your group in every way, shape, or form, and even if they get sick. So you also, like, for example, in our programs, we have legal forms that instruct on the things they need to do before the trip, if they should go to a travel physician, what are different injections or medications we recommend. Now, if they don't get it, that's fine, but we told them. So if anything happens, I can simply say, you were educated to do this and you did not. And I am now released of any liability. I did my due diligence on my side. So
Right.
that is all really, really important. And once you do that, then you can really get into the meat of the transformational aspect of the retreat, because who wants to be focused on that stuff?
Right.
But you have to be, so that you could really be full out present for the transformational aspect of the retreat.
Yeah. Without it risking your business because something happened that you weren't prepared for.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I've seen it all. After all of these years of managing not only my trips, but others, I've seen abductions, rapes, accidents, broken bones, hospitalizations, issues between partners, people not taking medication for depression or antipsychotic medications. I've seen alcoholics stop, drink on a trip and, go on a bender. I've like seen it all.
Yeah. So you want to cover your butt and you know
Yeah.
how to do that now. That's good.
Yes.
So I am curious because there's a lot of planning and preparation, and there's also a lot of marketing that goes into making a successful retreat. What would you say is the sweet spot for the timeline as far as starting to plan a retreat and starting to promote a retreat?
I think a minimum of 6 months if you have a list. Minimum.
Okay.
A year if possible, because people do plan in advance. And even if you just tease the emails out, like you don't have all the details of the pricing, but you know the dates, I would at least get that out to my list. And definitely have an early bird special to encourage people to sign up early. It's great if you can meet your minimum way before anything happens. So that's always really exciting.
Yeah.
And then you can chill, and however many people come after that, you're good.
I love that. What is so 6 months to promote it? Do you start planning long before you promote it, or like you just, you just have
a full year?
Okay. A full year.
A full year. Like I already have my trip for next October.
Yeah. Awesome. What do you do as far as a refund policy if people, sign up with that early bird special and then can't show up when the time comes? How does that work for you?
Cancellation policies, Molly, are based on the contract strictly that you sign with your venue.
Okay.
So, for example, if your contract with the venue says that your deposit to them is absolutely non-refundable and non-cancelable, then that would be what would be my cancellation policy with my people.
Okay.
If they say no more rooms cancel, but 90 days out before the retreat, then in my cancellation policy, that's it. They need to be paid in full by that 90 days, and there's absolutely no refunds after that.
Gotcha.
So everything is based on the contract.
With the venue.
Every word.
Yeah.
And so I always tell people in our community, never borrow a cancellation policy from anybody.
Right.
Unless you want financial issues.
Right. That's brilliant, because the venue is really the one you're going to have to answer to if people back out. So yeah, that makes so much sense. I love it. So what are your, I mean, you mentioned a couple of the amazing location-based retreats. What are some of your favorite retreats that you have coming up?
Oh gosh, I'm the soonest thing we have right now on the books is Morocco for October of next year, and I have to set the dates. The whole trip is laid out and priced out, but um, we have to do that. And but one of my, I have to say, like favorite locations, if I could do a retreat next year to Bhutan, I would have loved to do that. But
Bhutan, awesome.
yeah, it's a little out of the way for most people right now. So
Hmm. So tell us about the one in Morocco. What's the topic and who's right for that?
it is a Wanderlust Entrepreneur event, and it was also going to be community based. So we're doing something a little different, Molly. I really love my community, and they have so much wisdom. I cannot possibly be an expert on all subjects. So we're going to have several themes for the retreat. And for this event, there'll be different tracks. So you can pick and choose from each track what's going on in the day, depending on what you feel you want to be educated in. And so we're going to have some of our community members apply to teach.
Awesome.
And then there's a super discounted rate for coming, and they can teach and meet people and get some people on their list and get exposure, and also add something really amazing to the community.
I
So
love that. And the credibility of having led a retreat as part of that. That's awesome.
yeah, exactly, to teach and to, share what they're really passionate about. So in any hour or so, whatever the time frame is, there may be several things happening simultaneously.
Awesome. So tell us a little bit about the retreat blueprint program and, that freebie that you were mentioning before that we could tell people about.
Yeah, we have some good freebies. I'm going to get you something yummy for everybody if they want to download it. And they'll also get an invite to one of our webinar trainings on retreats. So it'll really go over a lot of the basics we're talking about right now with marketing, with legalities. Today we didn't talk about seller of travel law, which we have in the United States and Canada. So if you sell to people in states that have seller of travel laws, you're actually breaking the law. So we talk about that. We talk about how to create a good sales page for your retreat. And it's a great education because a lot of people have, Molly, the most amazing retreats and they don't fill because the person does not know to uh, how to word and translate the value and transformation of the retreat on their sales page. They go like, come to my retreat. This is what I teach. This is what I'm doing. We're going here. And it's not juicy. And we have a formula for a really juicy sales page. So we talk about that in the webinar. So they're going to get a really good education, and they'll also get an invite to join the Retreat Blueprint program if they like, at a $500 discount from what the advertised price is on our website. So that's really cool too.
Ooh, that's exciting.
Yes. And of course, in our course, we give our legal forms. So you're covered on that. I mean,
Wow.
anything that you could possibly think that you would need is in that course, even things that you never even thought you needed to know,
Yeah.
like seller or travel law, and so much more. And I talk about medical issues and just so much in there. Will be a really well prepared leader. We talk about facilitating some of the issues that come up with people and how you can deal with that. So yeah, we got you covered.
Awesome. So we will give you the link in the show notes, whether you're watching this on YouTube or whether you're listening on a podcast platform. Check the show notes for the link to that amazing blueprint that you can check out from Sheri. And Sheri, where is the best place for people to find you? You're on Instagram, aren't you?
Yes, I am at Wanderlust Entrepreneurs. So they could find it there. But a really awesome Facebook group, Molly, and we can put that in the show notes too. If people want it, we have over 60,000 people in the group that are retreat leaders and venue owners. So a lot of times you'll find out about really cool venues because, we've got the retreat venue people in there. So I gave you a link there for the
Awesome.
Facebook community. And you'll get a lot of support. We do great challenges in there, a lot of free stuff and fun education. And we just have a blast with our community. So it's awesome.
Awesome. We will give you all the link to that. Also, if you're just listening, it's facebook.com/groups/I love transformational destination retreats.
We do, don't we, Molly?
Yes, we do. Of course we do. Fabulous. Are there any last words of wisdom, any last messages you'd like to share with people on this platform?
Yeah, I just want to say to everyone, don't be afraid to live your dreams. I feel so many people are afraid to do what they really want in life. They're worried about what their family or others are going to think about them. And just be bold and audacious and grab that ring, just do it. Don't, even if you're afraid, just do it. Do something weird, do something different. It's like what I always like to say, let your freak flag fly, because there's only one of you. And it's your job and your purpose in this lifetime to just shine as brightly as possible and be everything that you can be, reach your potential and beyond, and have fun and meet people and love boldly and get out there and change lives. So that's what I have to say, Mom.
Yes, absolutely. And it's so much more fun to live on the scary, weird, crazy edge of things than to keep pretending we don't want that stuff. So thank you for being a beacon for that truth.
Yes.
And thank you, everyone,
Thank
for
you,
listening.
Molly.
Yes, thank you so much. Make sure to go follow Wanderlust Entrepreneurs with an S on Instagram, or Sheri_Rosenthal, and we will give you guys a link in the show notes for that blueprint. Whatever happens, keep asking big questions and taking bold action, because you are here for a reason.